Chapter 287. More Poison. But where did they go? Where to had Fungo Helen to go before receiving the promised good advice from Mahal? To the dwelling inside the castle of the chief priests themselves, and there also to the large apartment of the general. When the whole big company arrived there, Mahal asked Fungo Helen, "This building, in size not much smaller than an extensive mountain range, you most likely will know it?" And Fungo Helen spoke with a thin smile. "Yes, it should be pretty familiar to me. But what is it here in my house?" And Mahal said, "Let us now first go to the dwellings of the priests, namely first to the under-priests, and you will immediately recognize what it is all about here." At these words, the whole company walked to the large communal dwelling of the under-priests, and found them to be very active. But what were they doing? They were sharpening the tips of swords and lances, heated them over a charcoal fire, and then dipped the heated tips into the already known poison. But when the under-priests, who earlier, as is known, were the chief priests, saw Fungo Helen, they were overcome by a great fear, causing them to drop everything. And when the general asked with a thundering voice, "What is happening here? Who commanded you to do this?" no one was able to speak one word, for everyone saw himself as betrayed and lost. And Fungo immediately asked Mahal what should be done here. And Mahal said, "Start to act here. Ask at once for soldiers to come here and arrest the whole gang, for they are the main support for Drohuit and Agla, and they knew how to make both of them your greatest enemies, based on the old hatred for you, for which the reason is well known to you. These very under-priests have already turned many chief priests against you, and are the secret main reason of the current mutiny. You can apply the full severity of the law to them, but hold back the death penalty." Upon these words, the general had immediately 1,000 soldiers deployed. They at once fettered the under-priests and threw them into the lowest and most secure dungeon. And Fungo also had all the poisoned weapons collected and brought to safe custody. Thereafter, Mahal led him to his own apartment, and said to him in front of the door leading to the first large chamber, "First ask for some sweepers and cleaners to come here, to carefully clean the floors before we enter. Otherwise each step will cost us our lives. For some chief priests associated with the under-priests have strewn poisoned glass splinters all over the floor, and the smallest cut in the soles of our feet will cost each of us his life." Fungo Helen followed Mahal's advice and called for the sweepers and cleaners to come to his dwelling at once. They came with wooden shoes on their feet and cleaned all the general's rooms. But the general asked the sweepers and cleaners, "Why did you come here with shoes on? Did you know about the filth which has been scattered in my rooms?" Here the sweepers and cleaners began to tremble before the general. And Mahal said to Fungo Helen, "They acted under compulsion, therefore treat them graciously." And Fungo Helen said, "With the greatest fidelity. Tell me everything and I will spare you." Here they began to talk, and what they said made the general's hair stand up on the back of his neck. The following will show what they were saying.